Hello, fellow travelers. Welcome to Respawn Station. My name is Kandula, and today I'm joined by Austin Perkins for the first time on the
This
show.
this is what a guest with a good camera looks like.
Oh shit! You know it's crazy. It, I think last time Austin and I tried to do this, it was I think it was like 2018. And we just had so much confusion about who was host that we just never, we never ended up actually doing.
I was like, where are you going with this?
So I'm glad we
Once
can
again,
finally
a joke that only about 8 people in the world.
But all the hosts on this show would get it. That's the important part.
That's very true. They would appreciate that joke.
So with that said, Nick is away. He's working on season 2 of Weecember. That's the only thing he's doing. There's nothing else happening in his life that's important.
Oh, is he really working on season 2?
No, he is. He is doing that, but that is not actually the only reason why he's.
Oh no, I knew that's not what he's actually doing.
Okay.
I didn't know that he was actually working.
Yes, I guess this is the announcement. Weecember is coming back for season 2. So stay tuned. It
was very fun last time.
He's gonna I have the lineup of games that he's.
See, it almost motivated me to go and play some of my backlog. Almost. I haven't gotten there yet, but
yes.
It's on my to-do list.
Well, speaking of backlog, the only way I think right now on the channel that people might notice Austin is from Retrograde, which is of course our monthly show, which is currently going through some turbulation. Yeah, which is going through some turbulation. But we'll talk about that when we make a decision on how we're going to tackle this.
No, it's still monthly because we uploaded Dragon Age this month
in October. Yeah. So
and then November, the idea is that we play Condemned Criminal Origins, and then we talk about that.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of getting everyone to finish the game.
Yeah, because Nick won't be here. I also wasn't a part of the last Retrograde. I did film a short and gave it to Sari.
Oh yes, that's true.
But it has not been posted. So there are my
Where
thoughts
is this short?
in a very condensed format. What do you mean? I sent it to you.
No. I was for the audience. I was teasing the audience.
I thought you were legitimately asking me where did short.
Did I see this thing?
So yeah. There is a condensed format of my thoughts on Dragon Age.
Yeah.
I'll tell the full story that I was not on that because I could not bring myself to play more than 10 hours of that game, which is like an unwritten rule that we have now. If we have a longer format game that we choose for Retrograde, that we choose to play at least 10 hours, which I think Dragon Age Origins was like on average like 40 or 34 or something. It's something in that range.
Yes. I got to 30.
And then I was not doing that.
That being said, shout out to Dragon Age Veilguard. We'll talk about that.
I've heard that game is incredible.
We'll talk about that in the main show.
Yeah.
But before that, of course, we start every episode by asking ourselves a very important question. So I'll get started. Austin, what are you playing?
So, fans of the Chumbag HQ will know that I did just recently play and beat The Bridge Curse 2, the Extrication.
Which Extrication. We talked about that last week, actually. I said, hey, this game's coming out. And here we are. Next episode, we've played it. Well, Austin played it. Austin played it, and I was kind of over his shoulder, whispering sweet nothings into his ear.
So, yeah, so The Bridge 2. I never played The Bridge 1.
Curse. Let's
start there. The Bridge Curse, sorry, because there is probably other games.
Yeah, there's probably there's a Bridge 2. Yeah.
And anyone that's a fan of Chumbag HQ will understand my history with bridges.
Yes.
But anyway, so The Bridge Curse 2 was my first jump into the series. I don't know if the first one has any relevance to the second one. It doesn't seem like it
my understanding is that it's kind of like they're just urban legends, like they all center around some urban legend or another. And so yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about
it. That's what this game is. It's it's made by Softstar, which thank you for sending us a copy to review and play.
And also shout out to having your own name in the game, saying that it's on TV saying that you're working on multiple different games. That's a shout out to the real fans. I appreciate that.
Now I do have it like written down here, just like a little bit of like what the game is. I'll read the actual description
Sure,
that is
sure.
given. Actually, I don't even think the description really is that good. It's very generalized. It says, try to escape with your life in a first person survival horror adventure. Play through the eyes of 4 distinct characters as you evade and confront terrifying ghosts, unravel mind bending puzzles, and unearth a sinister conspiracy. So, the actual story of the game, excuse me, is that you, just like it says, you do play as 4 different people throughout the course of the campaign. The campaign is only about 4 or 5 hours long. It's a very short game.
Yeah.
But it all takes place inside of when I'm
Wenhua.
about to butcher. When who?
Wenhua
Is it Wenhua? Is that how you pronounce it? Hua.
or
Wenhua University.
it sounds about right.
Um,
If I got it wrong.
I went back and just to double check, I did have Hua written down, HUA.
Okay. Yeah.
So Wenhua University. This is originally a game, and like Suri said, Urban Legends. This was it took place. Well, it didn't take place. The developers are Taiwanese, so this is clearly dubbed over in English with the original language being of that. So when we played through it, that was kind of like one of the things that we joked about, or not even really joked about. We just kind of said it brought out of the illusion of this dub, although at some parts was very funny. Like we got good good things
Some
like
good quotes out of it. Sure.
what was the whooping hell? No.
Yeah, there's whooping hell.
Whooping hell
and then the same.
and this is stranger than
character.
a purple shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Which that one is by far my favorite one, and I've said multiple times since we played.
Yeah, no, I've also said stranger than a purple shit. I have to also appreciate that moment is really for us a double whammy, because not only is it the fact that we hear that line for the first time, but during that cutscene,
with nothing in it.
there's a box of stuff with nothing in it. Yeah, it's that was a perfect 1-2. Whoa, Nick, you look different. Yeah, he has a beard now.
Listen, I got a new camera. This is what happens.
It's HD.
Nick in HD.
It's like in SpongeBob, where they just cut to like the super high res.
So yeah, the game just came to consoles, like next gen consoles, which is the copy we played. I played it on PS5.
Yep.
Talking about the game itself, it was visually very well done. Like like graphically, it was amazing. Some of the puzzles, like it felt like Resident Evil Light. Like it was very much like once I picked up a puzzle, I knew exactly what I had to do, and there wasn't much thought to it. But there are points in the game where I would legitimately just get lost, even though it's a very confined and small area that you basically operate in. It's pretty linear. There's not much exploration. It'll tell you exactly where to go, and once you're there, you just kind of have to like fumble around until you find exactly what you have to do, and then it's a very easy puzzle.
Yeah.
In terms of the demons that we encounter throughout our playthrough, there are the nurse who, in terms of the story, she got like her neck like snapped in an elevator, which you see multiple times throughout the thing, and she's the one that follows you around.
Yeah.
For I think either 2 or 3 of the characters. Another one is a ballerina, which that one was by far my favorite. What was that?
Isn't it the mad ballerina or something like that?
The blind ballerina.
The blind, of course, because
I think if I remember the story correctly, it was like she got like glass in her eyes or something like that and lost her sight
during a performance.
So, yeah, during a performance.
Yeah, that sequence was really cool with the whole ballerina and you have to escape.
I was going to get into that in a second.
Okay,
but the other ones are a little like doll demon, which that doll demon is probably the stupidest one of the bunch. And then there's like the big bad demon that you only really encounter at the very end of the game, which is called like the Dark One. And there's like a semi-friendly, not friendly ghost that we encounter, which is the guy who was saying the crazy lines of what the whooping hell and all this
Sergeant
other stuff.
Something.
It was just
Juan?
Sergeant something.
John?
I don't remember. Excuse me, I don't remember his name. Um, but yeah, for most of them, it was very cut and dry. Like, here's an enemy, they're gonna get you if they hear or see you. The only one that was really unique, I think, was the ballerina one that we mentioned and Sri started talking about. The ballerina one had a really cool mechanic of it's going to go through its routine, and you just cannot let this ballerina see you. Um, so create it kind of like a fun experience. At first, it was just like one encounter, and you had to kind of sneak through like an obstacle course to get to the front of the room. And then
Yep.
once you got there, her performance was over. But there was like a boss encounter at the end where she took up, I believe it was up to 6 mannequins, and these mannequins all moved as like she teleported between them,
Yep.
and you just had to survive the performance. And it was probably the most intense the most
Game.
intense experience I had throughout the entire playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was probably my favorite part. Like that was throughout the whole time, like especially towards the end when I got deeper and deeper into it, I was like, this could have been adapted into like a Silent Hill game, and I would have totally bought into it. Like this could have been twice as long, better written, and like adapt it to a little bit more to like give me more puzzle solving that I have to go like from point A to point C to point D
Sure.
to point F, you know?
Right.
um, and just like move around the environment a little bit more, engage more with these things. Um, because by the end of it, I didn't really have like a fear or a thrill that went with it. Um, and overall, at the end, the ending really left me wanting more. We did also find out that there's an alternate ending that is with the game.
Yeah.
I went and watched the alternate ending after we stopped streaming that night, and it did not do anything remotely
Oh
to
yeah.
excite me. So um, I'm not going to spoil it just in case you want to play it.
Sure.
But yeah, there are multiple endings that you can achieve through different ways. Overall, the game was fun. I didn't hate the fact that I played it. Um, it was like if I had to like grade it, I would put it at like a 6 out of 10. But like that's like a very soft 6 because I think that it easily could have been an 8. And
Sure.
the difference really there is just potentially in the dubbing. So I haven't had time to go back and play and just read through subtitles. I would imagine it's at least slightly better then because there's just some things that can get lost in translation with any sort of dubbing. I'm a big anime fan, and I know for a fact that they sometimes just say whatever they need to and then just get to the story portion of certain scenes, but that little bit could add to the story. So I'm going to say a 6. The dubbing could have been part of it. But like I enjoyed my time in the game. It's beautiful. It gets creative at certain points, but I would say for like the 30% it's creative, it's like 70% I've totally done this in every other like modern day horror game.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, just so you guys know, I think if you missed the last episode, the game is available on PC, PlayStation 4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, Steam. Obviously, PC has been out for and Nintendo Switch. So if you wanted to take this game on the go, you could. Though I would imagine that you'd probably lose out on fidelity that kind of is
Yeah, I can't
crucial
imagine
in the
this game.
experience.
Listen, and the game is beautiful. Like it's really, really nice looking. So I'm assuming the Switch is not going to capture that as much as it should.
How dare you? I play all my games exclusively on the horror games on the Nintendo Switch.
As you
It really
should.
takes
You know,
the
you
horror
really
out.
want to. Yeah, you really want to lighten it up.
If I can see the scary stuff, Austin, then I get scared.
Listen, everyone
But if
likes
it's
a
just
good Luigi's Mansion.
Nick is currently playing through Luigi's Mansion.
I saw on his
he said he
Instagram.
jumped. He said he got scared. So
Yeah, I mean he's literally the character's name's Boo. You know,
sure. Every
how
time
can you not be scared?
Nick is jumping every time they say his name. Oh shit. So speaking of horror, I've also been dabbling in a little bit of spooks myself, but my adventure has just started. I've said this last week, I think, but I've had.
Sorry.
Oh,
You're talking too loud. They're going to hear you.
It's okay. It's okay. I've insulated the room well. Yeah. Well, as Austin is hinting at, I've been playing A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, and this has been, in my inbox for like a few days now, over a week, and I've just gotten started last night. Kind of diving into, or the day before, either way, diving into this game, which is really not connected, at least so far. Again, this is the first impressions. My review, I'm hoping I'll be able to finish the game for next week, so I'm going to make it very brief. So far, it's not like connected in terms of like direct characters or anything like that to the movies, the three movies that they have. But it is very interesting, and it has a lot of the same sensibilities of the Quiet Place universe, in terms of there's a certain type of character that you're following. The story is kind of very it's about like someone not just struggling through an apocalypse. There's like there's that added tension in the first hour of the game. Minor spoilers, but again, it's in the first hour, so I'll briefly mention it. But like a character finds out that they're pregnant, and that
whoa, I didn't know you could do that in that universe.
Exactly. So
isn't that the plot of the second movie?
Just the first movie. It's the first movie.
Yeah.
She gives birth to the baby, and that's like the whole kind of second act of the movie is her giving birth. And so I haven't gotten to any kind of further progress there. I don't know where they're going to take it, but you're the main character you have or that you play as has asthma, and so that's kind of their a little disability that they're given that we have to kind of deal with.
So is that how they kind of monitor you running and stuff like that? Is that you get out of breath?
Yeah. So on the
top, or is that not the character you play as?
No, that's the character you play as. So in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see like a pair of lungs, and they'll go from white to yellow to red.
You have to use your inhaler after X amount of time?
You either have to use your inhaler. Oh, it shows. Okay, I can say it. It's in the trailer that she is pregnant. Okay. I didn't want to spoil it, but no, it is her that is pregnant. You find out the main character is. But anyway, so what was your question, Austin? I didn't hear your question.
Oh, the inhaler.
Yeah. So yes, there is there's like an inhaler button, or like there's to kind of prep, like kind of calm yourself down. But the way you do it is to not move fast. You have to move quietly. You have to move on the sand. If you go off the beaten path, there's like certain things that are like will make like there's like dry leaves or broken glass that add to the sound. But there is also another feature, which this is the last thing I'll say about it, and I'll kind of talk more about it next week. But there's a feature in the game that allows you to turn on your microphone and monitor that into the game world. And that's how I played the first hour and a half or so of the game. And it's really interesting. I've so far not like really done too much with the sound. Like nothing's happened where the sound would really kind of like would have added to the tension where I had to be extra quiet. But that being said, it does add, like, you can see the little icon come up when every time the mic picks you up. I'm playing on the PS5, so it's kind of like built in. And it is a little bit more suspenseful. I think once the kind of the horror stuff starts happening, it'll be more interesting to see.
I think us being adults takes away from it, right? Because imagine having that feature in that game
as a kid
when you're 14, 15 years old, and then mom walks in.
Yeah.
Get your ass up here for dinner. Yeah. And then you're dead. You're like, God damn it, mom.
No. I was in the middle of a checkpoint. Yeah. I could see it.
That's the real experience.
That's what the kids of this generation are getting right now. That's
their
cherish that moment. But yeah, we'll talk about Quiet Place again in the next episode. Perhaps you could say on the road ahead. But
that's the name of the game.
That is the name of the game. Now, Austin, last week I think Yakuza had a show come out, Like a Dragon Yakuza. It's on Amazon Prime. I have not watched it. You have not watched it, but
I have not watched it either. I have started playing the games, and I was recommended the games.
Walk me through your lineup here, like what were you trying to do?
Okay, so this is the 100% truth. Probably about 4 years ago, I was told by someone who I was close with. They were like, "You would love these games. Play them." And I was like, yeah, I'll throw it on my backlog, whatever. And then my birthday was last week. I started getting some, money and stuff like that. People were sending in whatever gift cards. Um, and I was like, I have nothing to spend this on. And like, there's a few small things I had to buy off Amazon. So I was like, all right, what video game deals we got going on? And so I was like, okay, the Yakuza Remastered Collection. I'll give it a shot. Why not? And I thought I read it to where it had all of the games. But
Oh no.
the Yakuza Remastered Collection has 3, 4, and 5. And I was like, why would they give me
Yeah.
3, 4, and 5? And so I had to go
Nice.
back and find where I should be starting the game. And it basically said you can either go back and start from Yakuza 0, or you can start from Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
It's up to you. But I was like, I already have 3, 4, and 5, so I might as well start at 0. So I went and I was like, all right, how much are like 0? And then there's 2 games obviously between 0 and 3. So
Yeah.
0, 1, 2, 3. So I was like, how much are these? And I found that I already had one of them digitally. So I was like, cool. So I only need to buy 2 more. How much are these? Physically, I couldn't find a good like deal. Like I think they were like $20 a piece, which I'm not really going to pay that, especially at this point when I didn't even know if I would like the games. Let's start there.
Sure.
But luckily PlayStation was having a sale. So I got Yakuza 0 and the second game, I think, for like $10. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm fine with that. I started playing it and I was like, yep, this is ridiculous. Just like I was told it was going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm like maybe 2 hours into Yakuza 0. I'm really liking it. Obviously is something we were actually just talking about. It does not have dubbing at all. So you have to read subtitled. Unless you understand the language, obviously. Which I do not. So it's still something that, like, as playing a video game and having to read subtitles is slightly weird, especially since I'm not playing a Nintendo game, because Nintendo, no voice acting ever. It's just a.
I think I hit it better than you, but you know what I mean. It's just how it is.
I mean, we'll let them decide.
Yeah. Comment down below.
But yeah, so so that experience coincided with the release of the Prime show of Like a Dragon.
Yes.
Didn't know that at the time. I bought the game, started playing it, and then when I was looking up like to make sure I was playing it in the right order, it was like, this show sucks. So I was just like, why are people talking about this show? It just came out. And everyone's like, yeah, this is a bad adaptation. And listen, we've had a string
I heard
of
about the
bad
show.
adaptation.
I heard about the show,
I
and
didn't
then
know
I
about
didn't
the
even
show
know it
until I
was
started
out.
playing the game.
Like I didn't realize it was out just like that. I think I think Nick and I had covered that the show is coming, and then all of a sudden it was just it was on the homepage of my Amazon Prime. But hey,
and listen, I've not seen a single good thing said about this show, which I mean is surprising, especially from Prime, who obviously just did Fallout, which did well.
We've talked about once or twice. We've talked about that.
I don't know what's happening, but I know that before they were rumored to be doing the God of War, and they're doing secret levels.
Let's not talk about God of War adaptation just yet. that thing's a while away. What's on some? It's on ice right now.
I'm just saying though, is that like Prime is being trusted with all of these video game franchises.
Yeah.
And like granted, after Fallout, the success there was like okay. Even like I'm not like a huge Fallout guy, but I'm a fan. And like watching it, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's exactly like the game. That's exactly like the game. So they were very truthful and honest to the game. But is it like what I'm curious of? And once I get more experience in playing the game, I'll go and watch the show. Is like I wonder if the goofiness of the game doesn't translate well into like real life show. You know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole the goofiness, for lack of a better word, is the Yakuza shtick. But that's like part of this.
No,
it's part
literally,
of the deal.
It's so far in like the 2 hours I've played of Zero. You start as very mafia guy. You're in the Yakuza, and you're like shaking down a dude to get money back from him, and you're like, okay, pretty good, solid start. And then you go get the money from the guy, and then you deliver it to the loan shark you were working for. You give him it. The loan shark is like, I really like how you work. You should come work for me. And he's like, no, I'm a devoted Yakuza person. And then, I shit you not, maybe 8 minutes after this like stereotypical mafia encounter, you're singing karaoke in a fucking ramen shop. Like, and it's
par
like
for course, I
it's
think,
like
though.
Dance Dance Revolution, like click the buttons. Like, it's hilarious. I very much enjoy how like serious and not serious it is at the same time, but I can totally see how that is annoying as a show, because I think shows need to keep a tone, and it's very hard to do what they've done so far in just a small amount of the game I played in a show. I can only imagine.
Yeah. Do you know how long the game is? I do, but I want you to no, don't look it up. I have it up.
Oh, don't look it up.
Don't look it up. Give me a range of what you think.
I think it's like
how long to beat.
40 hours.
Oh, okay. It is not.
Right.
It is 31 and a half hours. Yakuza 0.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and then to 100%, it's like 120.
It's 143 to
143.
Complete.
Okay, so I got it slightly mixed up.
And main plus extra is 64 hours. Interestingly, though, of the ones that you have, so like,
well, I have all of them. I have 0 through 5.
So 3 is 17 hours, 4 is 20 hours. Kiwami.
So I picked the longest one.
Kiwami is 18, but the other choice that you had, right, was either Yakuza 0 or Like a Dragon. Yeah, Like a Dragon is 45 and a half hours. So so yeah, there was different. See, Nick and I have talked about this before, because I think he also has the same intention as you of playing the game and then going to the show. For him, it's like it would be a disservice to the game.
Truthfully,
to go into the show.
This is a real thought that I had this week, because I saw the post of like Nick playing Luigi's Mansion, and I was like, I haven't touched a video game in like outside of a stream in like a week. Sure. I was like, how the fuck does he have time? Like, it's just crazy. It blows my mind.
Yeah,
because I legitimately, like, I've been trying to play Call of Duty for since it came out, and I literally had a day off, and I still could not play Call of Duty.
Yeah, I had a busy October, so I was coming back in, but I've been chipping away at some games, and so yeah, it's been nice to go back into the swing of things. I'm not fully back yet, because there's still like 4 games that we're gonna review that are gonna come up soon. But
I mean, we also have a game that we all have a code for that we still just need to make time to play together.
yeah, it's true. There'll be, I mean, we can say it'll be Predator Hunting Grounds.
Oh,
we'll be playing soon, together, all 3 of us, me, Austin, and Alexa. So stay tuned for that. Sometime in the near future that we're going to do that. I've honestly been looking forward to that, because I'm a big fan of the Predator movies, and so yeah, it'll be fun to see how good it exactly is. I've heard about it.
I'll have to look that one up on YouTube.
What is
another
that?
joke that?
Oh,
because
I see.
Another joke that only about 7 people.
Yes, yeah. So, I will say, I have been playing games to kind of wrap up the first part of the show. But they're not like nothing significant. So I've talked about Quiet Place. I've actually been surprisingly returning
back to X Defiant. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's true too. I've played X Defiance.
Oh, that's not
that wasn't what I was doing. But I'll go there first. Yeah, last night I played a bunch of X Defiant. Mainly I played the new 3v3 team deathmatch, which is fun. And then I also got to check out the new Air and Space map, which was great the first time I played it, but then I ended up playing it like 3 more times in that.
I spilled drink on my shirt.
Oh no, the continuity that's
gonna be there the whole time.
There it is. Now we can't cut back and forth.
Sneaky, because I didn't want to give a free shout out to my drink.
Yeah, I don't know if you did or not. Was it a Snapple?
Damn. Oh, yes, it 100% was Snapple. Shout out.
Well, very subtle.
It was 0 sugar.
Ever so subtle.
I thought I was sneaking, because I thought you said you had to be framed here, so I was trying to sneak over here.
Speaking of, let me just subtly take a drink of water.
From what bottle would that be?
Oh, I don't know, but that sure is the coldest water.
The coldest.
Shout out the coldest bottle. Head out
Use code
code chumbag
CHUMBAG
at
for
checkout.
10% off your order.
Now, so I played X Defiant. Cool. Honestly, last night was a really fun stream. In terms of just like the game, I'm still finding matches even after Black Ops 6 is out, which is a positive thing. I'm glad it's not like dead on arrival. In a weird way, I think
there was a rumor going around
that it was gonna die. Yeah,
that they were like, this is gonna like season 4 is never gonna happen or whatever.
Yeah,
and they immediately came out and they're like, that is not true at all. They're like, we're currently working hard on the content that you're talking about, which I respect that team so much of like how they handle everything.
Yeah, they're very transparent about their they're both their struggles and their kind of positives. So I'm a big fan. I've been a fan of X Defiant since day one. I've been critical about it, sure, but I've also talked about how much I enjoy playing it. I've got over 100 hours into that thing already, 150 hours over. So yeah, I'm a big fan. But that being said, man, the limited time events, I'm liking the I know that sounded like a positive or a negative trend. I was about to like say something negative about it, but no, it wasn't. It was just a segue. I'm enjoying the limited time event modes that they're doing because it's actually actively making me go back and give it a go.
No, I want to hop on. I really want to hop on last night. I physically could not. I'm interested.
So the thing that I was going to talk about next was I found myself returning to the MetaQuest more than I thought it would, mainly because I've been playing the Zombieland game, which Nick has informed me is Headshot Fever. Is the proper name. I didn't came in last episode not knowing the name of the game. So
does Nick have is Nick a VR guy?
No, he's not. No,
that's even crazier that he knows the game.
He looked it up. He looked it up.
VR. Okay.
He looked it up.
I was about to say.
The show. He looked it up. Like, I can't take away that much credibility for myself. But yeah, no, it's honestly that and Fruit Ninja I've returned to the most.
Fruit Ninja is so fun on the MetaQuest, dude.
Yeah.
I cannot express how much. Like I feel like a ninja. Like I'm just.
Yeah, like it's really receptive.
I'm a tall guy, and this is a small room I'm in. I already have broken the lamp. Like there was like there's like glass around the bulb that protects it, and I have I'll grab it right here. I'm a golfer. I literally have golf clubs right there. There's this attachment that you can buy. I don't know what brand or anything, but you could. It's so you put your like
bulb in there.
Yeah, you put like one of the controllers inside here, and then it acts as a golf club. So this is a golf grip right here.
Jeez.
And then so I use.
I thought it was a lamp.
It's the stick I beat people with. No, but
of course.
No, so you put the controller in there, and then you have a golf grip, and then there's a PGA Tour like a game that you can play, and it's very good. Like I have legitimately taken things that I have done in the game and applied it to real life, and it has been successful. So it's weird how like it actually can be beneficial, and then so yeah, that's how I broke the lamp. Is the main point of the story is. I was golfing, I hit the fucking lamp with this thing, and it shattered. Like so like. It was the craziest shatter because it was so quick. It was so quick. Like it was like I barely touched it, and it just went, and then just exploded. And yeah, I got yelled at. I got yelled at by my girlfriend.
I don't know how this window is broken, officer, but that rock was just really.
But let me tell you, I did
touch the window.
I did just drive this ball 250 yards.
Yeah, honestly, the Zombieland game is kind of a fun arcade game. So it's like a haunted house that you can keep going through over and over again, and every time you do, you can kind of get quicker and stuff. It's actually so satisfying to like. There's like a arena or like a practice firing range. That's what it's called in the game. And I was like, I don't care about this. But then I was like, there's actually some like rewards you get for going through them. So I went and did a few. and I'd realized how like it's just doing that is so much fun in this game. Of like I actually kept repeating the firing range over and over again to see if I could actually improve my time, and I like that stuff. Yeah, I think it's kept me coming back.
Now, so I have a question, because there was obviously we lived in an apartment together. I'm not too sure how much the Respawn Station listeners know.
Yes, we slept in the same bed. Yeah, this is
yep. We cuddled every night.
Yep.
But no, so Suri bought a PSVR, the first edition, not the one that was new for the PS5, and there was like a good, I would say, month and a half before it kind of like you got out of it. That he would box every morning.
Hold on, before don't. When he says got out of it, I fucking tore my ACL.
Right, tore his ACL.
Didn't just like fall out of the fan. But yes, yeah, I did.
Well, I mean, you fell out of something.
I did. Yeah, I boxed every day.
The question is like, the question I was going to pose is that like, so I also have experience with that VR, and obviously I have a MetaQuest 3. You have a MetaQuest 3S.
Yep. For Sri. Yep.
So S for Suri. What differences have you noticed between the two? Because I wouldn't call either of us like someone who would even have been really like
the forefront of virtual reality.
Yeah. Like if you asked me a year ago, I would have never like invested $300, $500, whatever into a virtual reality headset, because I'm just like I'm not a VR guy.
Yeah, I paid like $150 for my PSVR headset.
Yeah, like I think that would be roughly where I would max out, but the prospect of the Arkham Shadows game was like, okay, like
that single-handedly was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I was like, I mean, I'm gonna get the game anyway, and if it's a $50 game, so I was like, I might as well just buy it,
Listen,
and have it.
I bought a Nintendo Switch for Zelda.
That's true.
That was it.
That's true.
So I was like, it's not the first time I bought something for just one game.
Austin, you've also bought an Xbox Series X for Fable. How's that working out for you?
Yep, that's very true. To be fair, it was for Halo Infinite as well, and I still regret the decision, if you're asking. I love my Xbox. It's a good paperweight.
So to answer your question though, the difference between the PlayStation VR and the MetaQuest 3S is night and day, mainly like incredibly due to the fact that the pass-through is so crazy. Like for me, the fact that like these computer screens are just kind of floating in front of you, and that you could walk away in real space, and then you can turn back and be like, oh shit, I left my fucking screens over there. And you can press a button to like...
I think that's a good point of... I kept calling the MetaQuest a virtual reality helmet, and that's not true. It is a mixed reality helmet.
Yes. Yeah. That pass-through gives it AR ability.
It gives it AR as well as VR, so mixed reality.
And I did play this one, which was actually... I don't know what it was called. Again, I'm totally new to this MetaQuest stuff, and I just kind of was playing through. I just clicked random things on the headset to
was it like the little blob shoot the little blobs?
Yes, yeah. So like,
I did that too. It was like preloaded on the MetaQuest.
Okay, yes, exactly. So it scans your room, and then it like parts of the room will start breaking away, and like these like little like little fuzzy things that look like they were like made to market, like, oh, if this like game sells,
Furbies.
Yeah, like essentially,
Furbies.
They start hopping into the room. It was a really cool experience, but like stuff like that, and also the way that you can interact with the interface by either using the controls or just using your finger, which I think is like straight out like that's exactly what I found so cool about the Apple Vision Pro, and so seeing that at a headset with one less zero is a pretty like significant kind of upgrade or a feature, I should say. So that has been like a total game changer for me. I'll like walk around my room with the headset on for like doing. I'm not just living with the headset on, but like, if I need to go grab something or something, I can keep the headset on. It's like a weird thing. The only negative I have right now about the headset is that like right under my nose, like right under the bridge of my nose, there's like a little gap right there that I can't quite get rid of.
I get that too. Yep.
And like, obviously if I'm playing for like over 10-20 minutes, I'll kind of like tune it out, but like it's always there. And it's kind of like I know I'm trying to look past it, and so sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm just going to turn off my lights. But if I turn off my lights, I can't do the spatial awareness thing. So I have to do it stationary and sitting in a chair. So it's like weird things I have to. Yeah.
There's a couple of cool features that like I didn't even think I would be doing this like when I bought the headset, but one of the first things I did was I downloaded the Xbox app on the MetaQuest, and it's very interesting because you can wirelessly pair your Xbox controller to your headset, and then you can play Xbox Game Pass on your VR, like your MetaQuest. The situation is kind of like you get put into I think it was like an all green room with just like a huge screen, as if like you're like alone in a theater, and you just play whatever game. I think I put on like Forza or something like that. Like it's just a game that I knew would look gorgeous.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so awesome. It's something I would recommend trying, especially like for like I would not do it for something that I'm going to be sitting there playing for like hours, obviously.
Yeah, I did it. So again, like part of that experience that I find so cool about it is that so again, I have like this is you have to understand that I also have like it's like the honeymoon period right now, right? So like I'm like super like I want to see what this thing can do. I can't speak for the longevity of like how much I'll use this in like a year from now. But that being said, I'm messing around with certain things where like you can essentially press one of the buttons up front and it'll take you to this digital space that you can kind of select. I picked like Cyberpunk City, and so it puts you on like this little like cyberpunk well in a little room that always overlooking a cyberpunk city. And I can, I had like a website, or I had like a browser window open, and I had like on my left, and I, had Respawn Station up because I was like checking Respawn Station. And then on the right, I had Amazon Prime open, but it was like gigantic and curved, and it was playing a movie that I was just like, oh, I wanted to see what this was, like how the experience was. And so like I like that, and like that if I wanted to press the button again, it takes me back to reality. There goes gravity. But it's I can see my room again, but then I press it again, and I'm back in this weird like weird cyberpunk room, and it's like a cool experience. I'm curious to see how much I'll use it in the future, but for now, it's gotten my attention.
Yeah, no, and you can even download like an app on your actual computer, and you can have your actual computer be displayed on your VR headset. I also have tried that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I tried that. If you remember, people that watch the Retrograde, I talked about how I played part of the first Space Marines on my MetaQuest. That's how. Is I downloaded the Steam app on there after I was like messing around with all the computer stuff, and I full screened Space Marines and sat there and played it.
Sorry, I muted myself briefly to adjust my mic. Yeah, no, I remember that. And at the time, my bragging point was, if you can call it that, was that I watched the last episode of Fallout, the TV show, on the PlayStation VR headset. That was how I watched that entire episode.
We've come a long way since then.
Yes, we have.
We're now Batman.
And dude, by the way, I've been waiting. I have Arkham Shadow, or Shadows. I don't know what it's called. But
Arkham Shadows, yeah.
I've been waiting to play it, but earlier today I was on Threads because I don't use Twitter as much.
Well, what's Twitter, dude? I use X.
I know you don't. And
I really don't. I really don't.
And it was just a video of someone saying, "Can we appreciate Batman's fingers?" And it was just the guy in VR going like this to like, just touching his Batman's fingers to each other. I was like, this is it. The future is here.
This is how I know I'm Batman.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, so
that's the famous line from the Robert Pattinson Batman.
Yeah, I remember that when he says Alfred. Ooh, ooh. Now with that, we go on to the news part of the show, and I have to say, this episode is sort of like another oops, it's all headlines, because we have a bunch of different headlines that we're going to cover today, and we'll see.
Also just spent 30 minutes talking about random stuff.
That's how it works over on the. That's how it works on
Listen,
the show.
sorry, me and you have been friends for a long time, and I can't tell you how many times we've literally been like, "Oh yeah, we're done. Good night," and then we're like, "But one more thing," and
but we're like Apple at every.
We go on a 2-hour rant about the Justice League.
Yep. Yeah, that's what happens, man.
And then it's 3:00 in the morning.
And that was our first Destiny stream.
I think it might have been actually.
So let's get to the news. We already talked about Yakuza. Again, if there's any updates on that, you're gonna have to listen to the show, see what we think about the games or the show.
Yeah. Here you go. You ready? I got the next one.
Go ahead.
Firewalk Studios took their fired walk as they are officially closing. If you don't know who Firewalk Studios is, they made the hit game Concord.
Yeah.
That lasted all of, I think, 10 days. And
before,
I think lost. So part of the news thing that I saw was that they asked Sony for $200 million to make the game. But on top of that, they also raised an additional $200 million before going to Sony and asking them for money. So this game had $400 million.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy,
and it's done. Like they're done with it. It's not coming back out as a free to play game like a lot of people thought. Like it's done. They're just like scrapped it. Don't care. Congrats to the 10 people that got a platinum
by jumping off the map.
By jumping off of the edges.
Yeah, this I think is not incredibly surprising.
It's not surprising.
Maybe
at all, but I'm just saying
maybe there was some hope that they could have done something with the game. And
let me state, we played the beta. I enjoyed Concord. I thought it was good. It's just that they decided to release a paid version of a game that I can go and play a just as good, if not better, version of for free.
You're talking about Overwatch 2?
Overwatch, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if not Overwatch, I mean, X Defiant to a degree is kind of like a hero shooter. Like you have your own abilities. You have,
Yeah. I'm curious about the games that didn't make cut, because Concord clearly did, and it we all know the story here. We've covered it for 2 episodes before.
I mean, you just can't not talk about it. It's one of the craziest things that's happened in a while.
Yeah, it was kind of the big surprise of the year in terms of like, oh, I can't believe that this just happened. It's kind of like I think it's similar to, at least for me, I think it kind of reads similarly to when Cyberpunk 2077 got removed from this PlayStation Store. Like they just completely it's gone from the store. I'm like, what? You can just do that? You can just do that to a game?
I will say I was very much hoping for the Morbius treatment here. I was really hoping that we would get the people behind it. Like they were like, I was working that day. Please, I want to play Concord.
Get the petition started. I'm sure that the petition's out there somewhere.
I would go. I almost bought a version of Concord before this news broke. Like
really?
I was literally on the because I legitimately enjoyed it. I was like, do I want to pay $40 for it? And then I literally went to go pick it up, and they were like, no, can't do it.
Yeah. But with that said, obviously, we're wishing the team at Firewalk best of luck. Clearly, it's a very talented team of people that just needed a different kind of direction. Yeah. And I think that game was a response to a market that just was too saturated by the time the game arrived. So, hey, hopefully, wherever they go next, they can put those talents to good use, because the taste of the game that I got, the talent of the team is crazy. It's just that, yeah,
it was just the not the right game. As simple as that. Not the right game.
But you know what is the right game, Austin? Fortnite. For not just concerts, but also for political campaigning. That's right. Kamala Harris has essentially created herself, I believe, direct Vice President Kamala Harris.
She has taken a break from her presidential campaign.
Yes.
To use the Fortnite tools to make her own map. No.
Yep. I think I forget what it's called. Is it Freedom Town, Freedom.
It's something like that. I'll look it up to get I think it is Freedom Town.
But essentially, it's like a thing to just kind of get people to kind of in Fortnite to kind of bring up the upcoming election here in the United States,
where all of the informed voters are.
Well, hey, I will say this: we have a predominantly United States viewer base. A fun fact, Austin, do you want to guess what our second
Fortnite town?
Fortnite.
It's called Fortnite.
I don't know,
Freedom Town. It is called.
Okay, it's called Freedom Town. Okay,
but I don't know why they called it Fortnite Town in this article.
So Austin, do you want to guess what our second highest demographic is? Obviously, by a long margin, our number one audience, like key demographic, is America. Like a location. So like a number one by a large margin is America. So what's the number two geographic location where we get most of our listeners?
See, you gave me the impression that it's something wild. So I just want to say like Africa.
It's not. No, it's not wild. I just wanted to see if you could guess. I was just.
You made it seem like it was going to be something that's like crazy, like something that I would be surprised at.
No, it's. You want to guess, or do you want me to tell you?
Is it Spain?
It's the UK, dude. It's the UK.
Okay.
The Brits. So yeah. Look at that. First they were in my country, and now they're watching me from theirs. Yeah. But no, to the predominantly United States audience, I just want to say, quickly, next week is voting week, November 5th.
I voted early. I voted yesterday. Yeah. You can do that.
You can do that as well. But make sure you go and vote, because look, this is your fucking, this is your right, dude.
If you don't vote for one of these two people, it may be your last time ever voting. Look, if we're Nick isn't here, I'm sure he'll come back to this and is like, well, what happened? But I think we can. I can say for the entire representation of Respawn Station. We've already openly said on Chumbag
we support Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
So if you're like, no, I can't believe it. You're clearly new to the show.
Listen, sorry about it.
Yeah.
Not sorry about it.
So go ahead and vote. That's a big thing. But now,
and we're not saying that you have to vote for who we like. It is a democracy.
Yes, go
just vote.
Yes.
There's only a few things that we have of a civic duty, and that is one of them. It happens once every 4 years. Go do it.
Yeah.
It takes 5 minutes.
But what happens
without a line, I should say.
But what happens every 1 year? A new Call of Duty game, and this year, Black Ops 6.
Even though they said we wouldn't, they said they wouldn't, but they did.
Here we are, another year. Black Ops 6 is out, and surprisingly, it's a hit. Everyone is loving the game. Across all the fronts, I've seen people.
And it's not just the normal Call of Duty hype that everyone gets hyped about. This is like the first time in, I would say, like 4, 5, 6 years, maybe, to where I've legitimately been like, wow, people seem to thoroughly be enjoying their time with Call of Duty. And
even Ice-T was tweeting about this, saying that he loved the campaign. And that's honestly the biggest thing for me. The current the current ranking of what I'm excited about for Black Ops 6. It's a game that I want to get to eventually. I think
multiplayer is last on my list.
It's campaign, zombies, and then multiplayer. To the point where I don't even think I care about the multiplayer. I'll play it just to check it out, but I don't think I'm gonna the movement is just so not my thing. It's not my cup of tea.
The omnidirectional movement, I have seen a few clips, and it's more so like the clips are, hey, I'm shooting at him, and he starts jumping, but he manages to like contort his body midair.
It's like reverse Wanted. You know that movie Wanted? But instead of the bullets curving, it's like you curve the bodies. Yeah, that's what's happening here. It's ridiculous.
No, it looks like I still hold to the same thing I've said maybe months ago. I would break several controllers if I played multiplayer.
Sure.
Whereas I have not been excited about Call of Duty Zombies, and I don't even know how long. I probably haven't played Call of Duty Zombies since Black Ops 2.
Sure. Yeah.
And I texted the group the other day. I was like, "Can we play zombies?" Because it seems fun. Everyone's having a good time with it. It brought back the feeling I had when I used to play zombies in Black Ops and
World
World
War.
War. World
World
War.
at War.
Yeah, World at War. I was about to say
World at
Civil
War.
War. And I was like, that's not right.
War.
And it just gave me this good feeling of like, wow, this is what I remember. So I'm very happy to see this, especially with Black Ops of all of them, because Black Ops is obviously one of the fan favorite games, or the series of Call of Duty.
It's finally, it's about time that the little guy, gets a break. I'm glad this indie title Call of Duty is getting some exposure. And hopefully they can turn a profit this year. That's really all I'm hoping for.
Yeah, hopefully. The stats are out that this is the most successful 3-day opening weekend, or it was, in Call of Duty history.
Oh, really? I feel that's the thing. I think Call of
probably
Duty
say it
pretty
every
much
year, too,
breaks
but-
that record every year. I feel like since like Modern Warfare 1, that record has been pretty much been broken by a Call of Duty game. Every new year. I think maybe it died down in Advanced Warfare, but then after the 2019
Warfare, I bought that game and I hated it. Like, I played a good bit of it.
I actually bought it because that was a period of time where I didn't play a lot of video games. I was in college, and who plays video games in college?
Losers probably.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. But
check out these gaming videos of us in college. No play.
But yeah, I mean, there's footage of us at a Fortnite LAN party out there on some hard drive.
Listen, that is somewhere, and I feel like that video was actually quality, and I don't know.
I don't know.
You have it somewhere.
I don't have it. It was.
You definitely have it. What are you talking about?
I thought
yeah,
Adam
it was
had
you.
It. Oh, okay.
No, why would Adam have it?
I don't know, man. I don't remember having that footage.
I mean, to be fair, we did play it with Adam and
Andy.
Andy and the other roommate. I forget his name. He was a really cool guy too. I thoroughly Andy and his two roommates. I really enjoyed both of them. They were funny as hell.
I loved all of you equally, Andy and you other two.
It's just that we hung out with Andy more than the other two.
Yes. I don't know where that point was going initially. Yes, I bought a copy of Advanced Warfare, but when I didn't play video games, and I still have not touched it. I just moved, and so my shelf, I was putting it away. I was like, I have a copy of Advanced Warfare on the Xbox. That's good to know. Maybe eventually I'll play it. But anyway,
the campaign I remember being okay, but the online at the time, because that was the first one that added the extra dimension of wall running and stuff, and I was just like, okay, I dislike this.
No, because I think Infinite Warfare had
Infinite
Warfare
Warfare is
too.
what I'm thinking of. Infinite Warfare is what I'm thinking of.
See, that's crazy though, because Infinite Warfare, I ended up. So when Infinite Warfare came out, I was working at GameStop, and one of the few times I felt like I got really crazy benefits was they gave us a code for Infinite Warfare Deluxe Edition, because we were employees at GameStop, and so that came with Modern Warfare Remastered, and I played the crap out of Modern Warfare Remastered.
Modern Warfare is great.
Did not touch the Infinite Warfare. Maybe I played the first mission in the campaign, and then I never went back. But I do want to play because I haven't even seen Kit Harington in that game, I don't think, and I want to at least got to get the Kit Harington.
Yeah, that was the string of Call of Duty going, hey, what actor can we just throw in here for no reason?
The Call of Duty's been doing that for years though, because Gary Oldman has been in
McGregor
World at War. Gary Oldman's in World at War, I think, or if not, at the very least, is in Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops. There's always some celebrity in there somewhere that you never know until you look it up. And also, the new Modern Warfare games have the woman that's now in The Boys. I forget her name, but she plays one of the main characters.
No, she's also. Oh, I feel like she was just rumored to be cast in something, and I forget what it was. I think I want to say it was something to do with Ghost of Tsushima, but I could be wrong.
No, I don't know much. I don't watch The Boys. I'm only into women.
Missing out.
So what are okay, so first of all, I think there's two ways we can approach the rest of this episode. I think we'll save the big kind of question for later because, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to say, it's Halloween time, so we're going to talk about the best horror video games. But perhaps I can interest you in one of the new scary games that you didn't even hear about.
I legitimately didn't hear about this until I was looking up topics for today. And then I was like, there's no way this happened, right?
So this is, honestly, to kind of, if we're adding like a little prelude to it, I also did not expect this whole game. So what are we talking
in 2024?
What are we talking about? Well, Ubisoft has just oh shoot. There we go.
What?
There we go. I accidentally went to the wrong scene there, so you got a little bit of a jumbled mess. So Ubisoft has just released Champion Tactics, which is an NFT-centered PC game. Now, I'm going to read what the website of the game says to get an idea, to give you an idea of what they're offering here.
Dude, it's such a scam. Like, I read through it and I was like, this is a scam.
Champions are magical playable figurines in the dark world of Grimoria. Each one of them is a living relic, an intricately crafted embodiment of Grimoria's history, a testament to the legendary champions who once shaped its fate. 75,000 champions have been minted. Assemble a squad of 3 champions, outdraft your opponents, and strategically employ your champion skills to counter the enemy's lineup and actions. Oh my goodness, Ubisoft. You guys were just going through the ringer for hey, will Ubisoft even survive? This is right off of the back of them closing the studio that made the
potentially selling Ubisoft.
Yes, yeah. This is of all of. I mean, look, I understand why they did not, want to advertise this. I didn't catch this in their summer of gaming conference or whatever.
Yeah, no, this wasn't in any conference, that's for sure. Because they know that they would have gotten clowned for it.
Yeah, and I'm very intrigued. Essentially, it sounds like to me that the characters that you see, that you kind of saw in the trailer, that's like those almost looks like D&D characters. Those are the NFTs that are getting minted, and so those are the characters that you're playing as. And go ahead.
From
Austin.
what I read, they give you, I think, 3 temporary characters, but they break or get destroyed or something like that, and you have to buy. So it's like literally like, give me money. And I'm seeing here that now some of the NFTs are costing up to, this website is claiming roughly $64,000.
Is that not how much they should be going for? I'm not sure.
Oh, here you go. I found the website. I literally found the website where you can buy the champions. So the most expensive one is going for $63,372.19.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy. I mean,
and
look, you can see the game in action right now. It's not. It's not.
It looks like if I was like a kid playing with action figures and just smacking them.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Look, if this game was like this, but it didn't have the NFTs, I do think that I wouldn't be as harsh on it. It's just that, and by the way, we were looking at alpha gameplay that was from 6 months ago. This is different. The game's out now, so there could be some changes. So I do want to put that out there just in case you're watching it. But yeah, this is what's going on, Ubisoft. How does this happen?
Who's in charge there that went, you know what we could really use right now? An NFT game that's gonna piss off everybody. And not tell anybody about it.
And it's so funny because, look, I'm not trying to say one is better or worse than the other, but I'm just kind of simply talking about kind of the actions that have happened in the industry so far. It's just so odd that Naughty Dog's game that's a live service game gets canceled by Sony after however, tens of millions of dollars, if not $100 million of dollars,
and
were sunk into it.
Nonstop like excitement for
it. Yeah, and like they were like, no, this is, we got to cancel this. This is not going to come out. And then Ubisoft has decided to release this, despite, again, I think this is a similar situation of Concord, in terms of this game might have had, like, at the peak of NFTs, I think there might have been a place where this game comes out and people are like, oh shit, okay, let's get into it. But with how much NFTs have been memed and critiqued, this just...
what's even funnier? So I knew nothing about this game. Do you want to know when they announced this game?
No. Yeah, sure. I mean, yes, I do want to know.
They announced it in June of 2023. So it was way past the NFT thing already. And then they were like, I think we'll make a game with this.
Which is crazy that, missing the boat a little bit there. But for them to still carry through with the release is really like, what's blowing my mind here. Because I honestly, I saw this and I was like, there's no way. I had to check if it was real. You can play it on the Ubisoft launcher, so it's like kind of baked into their. I would not assume that this is on Steam, because I don't know if Steam. I don't know how they're.
No, because it has to go through their blockchain stuff. So I just did a little bit more research. So there's a blockchain called Oasis, OASYS. And It was established in February of 2022 and is backed by, do you want to take any guess of what other gaming companies have backed this?
Tencent.
No.
Oh. Riot.
No.
Fuck.
You ready? I'll just start naming them.
Okay.
Bandai Namco, Sega.
Fuck. Oh.
Ubisoft, obviously, and Square Enix.
Oh, so all the Japanese studios. A lot of them.
And so it was marketed as a specialist blockchain for games. And then I just
all that makes sense, because Square Enix was, I just kind of started randomly guessing stuff, but I'm pretty sure Square Enix was supposed to, said they wanted to get in NFTs at the time.
So they've released Final Fantasy NFTs and stuff like that. I do remember that. But there's just a quote here that I just love. So I was scrolling through this article, and it says, following a report about the criticism of the NFTs, those in charge at Ubisoft said players don't get it.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
So the customer's always wrong, isn't that what the statement is?
That's exactly right.
But honestly, look, I have no interest in playing the game. This is probably as deep as we'll go about it, and unless, of course, this story develops and we know a next episode ends up becoming more about this, perhaps. I don't know, but for now.
So what's the outcome? Is that it doesn't work at all, right? Because NFTs have proven not to work.
Yes,
you just can't hold the value. It's all based off of your own personal perception of what something's worth.
Yep.
So it doesn't work. People get mad because they invested hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever, potentially. Yep. And then Ubisoft's just like, you chose to do that. Sorry. Thanks for the money. And then it's going to create a whole additional PR disaster that they're going to have to clean up on top of the other 1,000 disasters that they've created. And yeah, it's just I don't get the thought process here of just I get you may have a game that you just want to throw out there. Don't. Maybe don't. No, I don't think anybody asked for this.
Yeah, and again, look, they did silently release this just for the sake of getting it out there, but really, it's read the room kind of thing of
it's just maybe focus on the stuff that people actually care about.
Yeah.
Simple as that. No one cared about this. And this is going to take upkeep of some sort for however long they decide to do the trial run. And it's just taking away from other things that could be being done.
Yeah. More on this as it develops. Who knows? This is, since the course of this podcast, I mean, there's been so many twists and turns of reality. I remember recording the episode where like Concord was announced, and during the course of this podcast, which is we're 34 episodes in,
which is crazy.
The game has come out, and then the game went away, and then the studio is now gone, and yeah. So who knows where Champions Tactics, what was it called, Grimoire or something?
The dark world of Grimoire.
Yeah, who knows?
Grimoria.
Sorry. Grimoire, I think, is something else from like Lovecraft or something.
Probably.
And look, another wrinkle in the whole oops, it's all headlines. This one is just something I thought was interesting to talk about, because Jason Schreier, who some of you guys might have heard about, published an article on Bloomberg earlier today that is essentially saying that veteran video game developers are going smaller with their teams. To quote, thanks in part to the growing accessibility of powerful game-making tools, pared down studios are proliferating, unquote. So essentially, and this is something that we've seen quite often in the industry recently.
Yeah, we've seen massive layoffs of who was it? Just Microsoft? Was it 2,500 people?
Yes, yeah.
It was Microsoft? Okay.
Yeah, Microsoft had huge layoffs, twice I think so far in the last year or so.
Well, Microsoft, that's a whole nother piece of shit situation that happened over the course of months, but
yes,
we'll leave that in the past for now.
But what I've noticed is, again, I go through a lot of PR emails, and one of the trends that I see all the time, it's a headline that I kind of, and to their credit, it always manages to catch my eye, but it's always Cyberpunk 2077 developer, or ex Cyberpunk 2077 developer is now working on this, or ex BioWare developer has now started this studio, and it's always small.
Just Callisto Protocol,
Well, yeah, it's like smaller, 20-person teams. It's because games, and again, you can go to Bloomberg and check out the whole piece to kind of see what Jason has to say about it. He's an incredible author or a writer, so go read there, so he's not fucking can't believe this podcast stealing my readers, which is 100% that's exactly what he's going to say. But games,
he's well aware of us.
He's in the touch. But no, a lot of games, I like Naughty Dog games come to mind for me, but any kind of big triple, or dare I say quadruple A video games have hundreds of people working on them. And in the case of I'm sure GTA, thousands. Any Rockstar game, I feel like there's just an incredible amount of people that are working on those games.
Yeah, there's probably hundreds of writers, let alone people making the game.
And hundreds of writers is crazy. I don't know how. I would be curious to know how many writers are actually.
I really don't know, but I'm just saying is that that number is probably a lot closer.
Well, there is a lot of there's a lot of bulk that has to be done of all the NPCs and everything in that world.
Schmuck at the corner of a bar.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, dude, what the fuck's going on?
Yep. So with that, okay. So to quote again, Jason, he says, in 2022, Activision Blizzard Inc. said it had more than 3,000 people working on Call of Duty. That's a crazy number of people. And Call of Duty being another obvious one where there's since there's multiple projects and there's 5 different studios or 6 different studios that are working on those games. Yeah, it's a big number. And so I think there's been a trend that I've personally noticed of studios moving away from that, or in developers kind of purposefully going for smaller teams. It's awesome to see. And some of the games that we saw kind of those news stories breaking initially are now coming out, like Eternal Strands we talked about last week which was at the Xbox partner preview. That was from an ex BioWare developer, along with other studio veteran studio developers. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to see kind of where that goes, because I do think that the game industry, the game as a whole, has kind of growing a little too big for its own good in terms of just I mean, some of these games are getting ridiculously expensive. So you have to wonder
And they're not always good. Is the problem?
Yeah, sure.
Like you can spend all the money in the world on a game, but it doesn't make it good. I mean, like I can play a game that's like a side-scrolling pixelated game, and it's 30 times better than the most polished open world third-person shooting like online multiplayer RPG. You know, like
Are you describing Gollum to me right now?
That's exactly what I was describing. But no, like seriously, it's just like you don't need all the bells and whistles. Yeah, it's fun and it's nice to have those things, but I find myself like reminiscing about the stuff that is just like one of my most favorite games that I've played in like the past year was Inscription. And that's literally just like a very basic card game. And it has like a story to it and everything like that. And it was just fun. Like I enjoyed my time with it so much that like every time I'm like in that mindset of like, I don't really like want to put like all my mental effort into like a game. What do I want to play? I always look at that like in that direction of that game because I'm just like, I know it's fun. I know I don't have to like seriously focus on it. I can just like mindlessly play it and just like have a good time with like the tactics of the card game.
Yeah. So
like it doesn't take much, and I'm sure that game did not cost a lot to make. And I've enjoyed that game much more than I enjoyed like Modern Warfare 3.
Personally, I go to Chocolate Milk Clicker. I heard that game's pretty simple and great to play as well. I just word on the street. I'm just kind of reporting what I see.
There's also what was the other one? Pizza Run.
Pizza Run. I believe that's the name.
I'm the main character,
and Austin is the main character. It's literally like I was making the thing, and I was like, "This got to be Austin," and it was like a very specific outfit. I don't. Do you have a red hoodie? Did you ever wear?
I do. So here's the funny part: is that my favorite hoodie in college was red.
Oh.
I gave this hoodie away.
And you never got it back.
And I've never got it back. And so yeah, I don't think I've worn a red hoodie at all, but I 100%. It's like a part of my look for sure. I think even like the logo that like I made of us in like the Cuphead style, I believe I'm wearing a red hoodie.
See, there it is.
It's also my favorite color. Just to add on top of that.
Yes, yeah, it's true. So yeah, that's why he looks like Austin. If you're wondering, dude, I gotta say though, Austin, I'm not blaming you for it. Well, you could certainly take it that way. That game did so poorly compared to like see in my naivete, Austin,
so I know someone uploaded gameplay on YouTube of playing Chocolate Milk Clicker.
Yes.
Did anyone upload gameplay?
No, they did not. No, they did not. See, that's the thing.
That's your problem.
I was naive, and when I released Chocolate Milk Clicker, and look, I'm not saying I'm a fucking video game developer now, but like 2,000 people saw that fucking game. And so I was like, oh, this is just what games get. So I release Pizza Run, and I do the same amount of fanfare for it, and it's got like 150, and I'm like, what? Like this is what's normal. Like,
see, maybe pizza's not as universally accepted as chocolate milk is. Maybe that's what we're learning.
Is that what you're deducing from this?
Maybe if you made a chocolate milk run, it might be different.
Oh yeah, the trajectory would be different versus a pizza clicker. Who knows how that would have done. All right, now this is again, obviously, this part of the show we go into the inbox, but the inbox is a little bit different this week because I don't have a lot of new games to shout out, but there are a few things that I think are worth talking about. First of all, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is coming to Mac. So this is coming to Macs exclusively that have the Apple Silicon, and this game, the Ultimate Edition, all it basically does is take the base game and pair it with the Phantom Liberty DLC, and you can buy them together.
I appreciate that Mac is getting more into the gaming.
Have you followed this last few days here? I'm a big Apple guy, so
I haven't. But I mean, just even think about like, what was it, like a year ago now that they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna make games accessible from your phone, and you could like the big thing was like Resident Evil, which obviously
Yeah,
it comes with the caveats, but just like the
which
thought of
bombed
that is alone.
by the way.
Oh yeah, I didn't say it was successful. I'm just saying that they tried.
Yeah,
Whereas like
yeah,
there's games that like people on Mac they just can't play,
yeah.
So
So, essentially, over the last few days, like 4 or 5 days, Apple has held a different or released a different kind of showcase every single day, and each day, every day was about the Mac. So they started, and it was, I believe it was just about like the Mac, just the general Mac. Again, these are like 10 to 20 minute videos that are, about, like talking about what's new. So, but anyway, they had a new one that was about the iMac, which is the one that has a screen built in. They had yesterday's was all about the Mac Mini, which is actually what I use for a lot of my work. And the crazy thing is that the Mac Mini, and Austin's seen, how my Mac Mini looks. That thing is small.
yeah, no, it's literally like a little box like
Yeah,
that.
it's
Like, it's
gotten
super small.
smaller this year because with the new Mac Mini, it's 5 inches by 5 inches and 2 inches tall.
Damn.
And it has the new M4 chip, which is like super. It's obviously like it's Apple Silicon is actually really really impressive in terms of like what it's capable of. So, there's that, and then earlier today, they had a showcase where the final day of the showcase, and they announced the new MacBook Pro, which. Look, this was definitely like the premium showcase. But it was interesting, like they come out and they're like, this. It's so funny because like they have the same few people come out for each of the thing, and they're all like, Apple Intelligence. And then there's another guy who comes in and he's like, it's 3 times faster. It's 4 times faster. It's just after a few Apple events, over the years, you get used to it. Here's the thing. There's a second story on the lineup today. This one is one I know Austin will be excited about. At least his ears will be perked up. Not just because of his last name. So Lionsgate and Red Barrels have struck a deal to bring Outlast to the big screen. So Red Barrel is teaming up with.
That's a great. Honestly, never thought of it. That's a great adaptation.
Yeah,
that one for one can just be ported over to a movie, and it would work.
Yeah, the first game is I mean, it's kind of made.
It's a perfect
also like
atmosphere,
perfect
for
a found footage.
Yeah,
film.
I can imagine it being it can be a very relatively, I guess, low budget, and it works. Like it would work.
Yeah, I'd just be really curious to see how like they get. Yeah, there's certain elements I'm curious to see what they adapt. But essentially, what the press release says is that Red Barrels is teaming up with Lionsgate and producer Roy Lee, who is known for It, Barbarian, and most recently Late Night with the.
I was just talking about Barbarian today. That's crazy.
Love Barbarian, Late Night with the Devil, and Strange Darling, which I actually just recently watched in theaters. Kind of an interesting movie. But so Roy Lee is developing a feature film that's anchored in the Outlast universe with J.T. Petty, who is the writer over at Red Barrel, working on the film's screenplay. So that's going to be awesome to see. I'm just curious. Like, it's been over 10 years since Outlast has first hit the market, and honestly, I'm super happy for Red Barrel for not only finding this thing that like they somehow struck gold with Outlast.
Legitimately, like I never even when I played through it thought of like, oh, this could be a movie, but 100%.
Now you're in.
Like,
now you're in.
100%. It would make such a good like because that's the whole thing of like the game is like I'm terrified because like I'm powerless, but like if I'm just watching it and I can like enjoy like the atmosphere a little bit more and like kind of be like, oh, you dumbass, don't go down that hallway. Like it creates like that same kind of like bad shit's about to happen kind of like feeling in your stomach, but like you can't control. So it like takes the control away from you completely and puts you in especially if they're gonna stay with the camcorder and do a found footage. And give you like the
honestly,
POV.
I mean the setup itself of like a like a journalist going in to investigate a place. It's just so it's like just perfect for that. Like it's written there, it's all on the paper. Now you just gotta make sure that the characters and everything else kind of is fleshed. But honestly, I could also see it as like just this really intense like hour and a half experience where it's just like there's not a lot of dialogue. You don't care about characters too much. You're just like it's almost like a haunted house where you're just trying to get through it. Like get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, no, like I that's exciting. Honestly, like
I told you. Are your ears perked?
I hate the game because of how the game makes me feel. But I love the premise of the game and I love the story behind the game.
Yeah.
And they do a very good job at everything in terms the story of Outlast is good. Like it was fun, and very terrifying in like a good way. So
yeah,
I think legitimately I think it's going to be hard to fuck it up. They can fuck it up, but I think it's going to be hard.
It is also Lionsgate, who have just recently put out Borderlands.
Never heard of
it. Yeah, I know you're new. I know you're new.
I am. I have been looking for a copy of that movie so I can actually watch it.
Because
I have not watched it.
Yeah, curious to see your thoughts.
And I am as much of a Borderlands fan as I am. Like even like I've been thinking about tattoos and like I'm like I have to get a Borderlands tattoo probably as my first tattoo. Just makes sense. I am not looking forward to watching this movie, but I know I have to experience it.
You're gonna have to get Kevin Hart's face tramp stamped. That's the only way this can end. The story can end.
Listen, if we get the backing and the funding for this, I will do
it. Not Square. Who's the Gearbox. I was saying Square Enix because the next story is Square Enix. Yes, I'm sure that's the person to bring into the conversation.
If you give me money, I will tattoo a tramp stamp
of Kevin Hart. Like. Oh my god,
if you want Kevin Hart, sure. If you want Roland, sure. If you want Claptrap, actually that's way better. Claptrap.
Get Claptrap with his he's clapping over your trap. Is that what you're trying to suggest?
That's what I'm saying. Get Claptrap. Get him clapping over my trap.
Now you got a rap. See, look at this. This is what happens. I was saying Square Enix though. I was saying Square Enix because Square Enix is the next story up. Yesterday, Square Enix, along with developer Deck 9 Games, has released Life is Strange Double Exposure, an all-new supernatural murder mystery starring the return of popular character Max Caulfield from the first Life is Strange games. And the game's out on Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, and PC via Steam, along with a Nintendo Switch release coming sometime in the future. So, yeah, check it out. Life is Strange has always been kind of a... it's I only played the first one, but I always appreciate what those games do and the kind of the stories they tell. So,
and this one's a bit funky from what I remember is that there's like two realities that you play in, and you're hopping between the two to try to save the other one, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. That does sound correct.
It's a very Life is Strange thing.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, I mean, this one, I think, if anyone is excited about this, it's got to be actually, I'd say Alexa, but of course she's not here. So, this is Austin, brace for impact. Jumping Jazz Cats. And Team 17 Digital and Montreal-based Le Catnip Collective are working together to put out Jumping Jazz Cats, which essentially is a 2 to 9 player online or co-op little platformer, like multiplayer platformer. So you can pick up different power-ups. There's different mini games. There's 6 levels that you can go across. And there's 10 original jazz tracks that influence the gameplay during the courses as it reads. So
wow, that sounds like something I would want to play right meow.
Perfect. Read the script perfectly. Honestly, look, I love shouting out random cool games, and this certainly, it feels like Mario Party with cats, and jazz, and that all sounds really good to me.
That sounds good to me. Yeah.
So check that out. And that's it. That's all I had. I mean, like this week's been pretty slow in terms of the inbox. We got a few things, and you're gonna see that stuff come into play later in a few weeks. Hopefully, you'll see that. But for now, that's all there is over in the inbox. Oh, I mean, look, we're gonna keep talking about it, and I'll keep bringing up random gaming stuff if I can talk about it. Austin, last month you sent me a Humble Bundle thing to check out. I picked up the Humble Bundle thing, and accidentally before my checkout, I ended up adding the thing that gave me games too. Like, as essentially the thing Austin sent me was books.
the live service of Humble Bundle, or you get monthly games.
I did not realize I forgot about that, and so come into this week. It's been a month, and I get an email saying, "Hey, your Humble Bundle games are waiting for you." And I was like, "What does that mean? I already bought my games and I redeemed them." No, I did not. So, I have more games that I can now that are waiting on Steam for me should I have the need. Honestly, though, most interestingly, there's so first of all, here's the games that I picked up right off the bat. There's Remnant 2.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
Remnant 2 I got. Persona 5 Strikers, Dome Keeper, and Jusant. Those are the that's the
Listen,
climbing.
I know
game?
we have some people that would be excited by us playing Remnant 2.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, 100%. Now, I have since canceled my my Humble Bundle thing because I have enough games to play on a regular basis. I don't need I don't need more. But that being said, pretty interesting. There's also a few games that I didn't yet redeem, and I'm going to figure out how to give those away to people who probably enjoy them more. But there's Jack Move, Station to Station, Remnant Records, which has nothing to do with Remnant 2, by the way, and McPixel 3, which I honestly did not know anything about. But upon just looking at it, I think mayhaps Nick would be interested in that game because it is published by Devolver Digital.
Oh, he is a Devolver fan.
He's a Devolver head. So
that is one thing.
But yeah, we'll figure out if I ever actually get to those games. I'll share my thoughts on any or all of them. Because honestly, all those games that I picked up, I definitely was like, oh, I want to check this out eventually. See what happens. Now, Austin, do you want to go? Where do you want to take this show? It's your first time. I want to make sure you're feeling the pace out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm good, man. I'm good, whatever. I'm just here for the ride. Just doing my best to fill in.
Yep. Feel free to give Austin a rating, out of I don't know, 1 to 10. How he's doing, not in terms of how good he's doing at hosting, but how much he's filling in for Nick. That's entirely it.
Listen, that's some big shoes to fill. Nick knows his stuff, man.
That's true.
So it's definitely a different experience with me because I'll make a joke. I'll say something that's just maybe a little too much. Nick, on the other hand, will come in with the facts. I come in with very little. I come in with opinions.
I come in with little clothing and a lot of opinions.
Listen, you don't know what I'm wearing underneath the camera.
That's true.
You already saw what I was doing to the things above the camera. Spilling my drink.
Yeah, that's true. Now, to hopefully, I see the stream fucking just tanking right now, which is always good to see. You love to see that happen. So we're going to have a brief conversation about our favorite horror games to play around this season, because of course tomorrow everyone's going to be honestly, it's a little Austin, can I complain to you about Halloween?
Sure, go ahead.
Everyone's excited about the entire month of October because they're like, it's Halloween. But then Halloween gets here and it's immediately like it's gone. Like the vibe is switched.
Dude,
You know,
the decorations in Walmart went on sale last week for Halloween.
for Halloween,
They're already
yes.
selling Christmas shit.
Halloween should be on October 15th, and you have half a month.
It should be like, you know how Thanksgiving's the last Thursday?
Sure.
It should just be like the first or second Friday of October. It should just be a set Friday because no one gives a fuck about a Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody. And also, like, let the kids enjoy it. You know, they get the candy Friday night, they eat it through the weekend, and then they call out sick on Monday. You know, that'd be perfect.
You couldn't have said it better in the middle of interruption. So let's talk about. I mean, look, Austin and I have played quite a few horror games in our time.
It's true.
Some games that I think I've didn't want to play I've played for other people's entertainment, and we're currently trying to make our way through another for Retrograde that hopefully be getting to soon, and we can get that sorted out. But when it comes to favorite horror games, Austin, do you have any ones that immediately come to mind?
I mean, in terms of like the best experience I've had with a horror game, I would go to Outlast. Outside of that, probably one of my newer favorites that I played, because I was looking over at my game collection, just like what do I have sitting around? Deadly Premonition is, I wouldn't really consider it to be a horror game, really.
Sure.
It's, I guess, a more like thrilling kind of like, but it's like almost comedic. So it's like a goof of a game. But it's very fun, and just like after you get through like the awkwardness and you kind of understand what the game's going for, it is very enjoyable. So Deadly Premonition should be up there. Outside of that, honestly, the only time I really go for a horror game is when I play it on stream.
That's fair. That's fair.
Didn't really play them growing up, so I missed out on like the Silent Hills and stuff like that. I've recently gone back, like semi-recently gone back and played like Clock Tower. I got the privilege to actually play a copy of Rule of Roses, which is like a game that was like banned in like a certain country. I forget which one. And it wasn't even that bad. It was just about like it got banned for like because you like kill little kids in it.
Yeah.
So those like classic games are always like, they're not super scary. So like it also takes like, because you know we're playing it in the 2020s. Whereas like I'm sure when they came out, they're like, oh my god, this is horrific. How could games get more realistic than this? So playing them now is kind of goofy, but I can see why back then it could be a little bit more terrifying to play through those. But yeah, if someone was to come up to me and ask for one recommendation, I would have to go Outlast. And if that's not an acceptable answer, probably the BioShock, like the original BioShock.
I really don't play of a lot of different horror games. I think I have a specific type of horror games, and I tend to kind of play those. Yeah, and that it's Resident Evil. So for me, you know, if we're approaching it, so there's two different things, right? Like, you know, there's the idea of like what's your favorite horror game versus like what you kind of propose, which is like if someone came up to you and said, hey, like what do you recommend in terms of like horror games? We've always talked about my favorite. I would say like Until Dawn, Resident Evil.
Until Dawn's a good one.
Resident Evil Village. Outlast Whistleblower, because Outlast I experienced kind of a long time ago, and then I recently kind of played it again by watching Austin play it, and then I actually ended up playing Whistleblower myself, and I just really liked Whistleblower because it's a easy kind of, you can go in and get out pretty fast. But if someone came up to me and was like, hey man, like I want to play horror games, like what do you think I should play? I would actually say that both, so starting with Resident Evil 7 and playing Resident Evil Village out right after it, that back to back,
and that story is incredible. Like,
yeah,
playing those on stream, obviously, like that's like the backbone of Chumbag HQ. But like getting to experience the full-fledged story with you guys, I was just like, oh my god, like that moment of like the big reveal. Obviously not going to spoil it here in case you guys want to go watch it or play it yourself, but it still is. I'm just like, wow, that's crazy, and it's like even crazier that like we didn't think about it.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's funny because like when you say that, I was like, that you're not gonna ruin it. I was like, if I was to try to be funny, for example, and try to like make up a random a thing, Resident Evil Village is one of those games where the twist is kind of the thing that people joke about when they're trying to say, "Oh, let me spoil it,
100%.
let me spoil it for you," and then
I recently did a similar thing of what you're describing. We're currently watching Game of Thrones, me and my girlfriend. And I jokingly said something that's an actual spoiler, and I like hit it in a conversation. So she's like, "That'll never happen."
Yeah, wait to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And then also, I will say that to a certain degree, depending on how you look at it, I would say that parts of The Last of Us are also horror, and I think The Last of Us is just one of my favorite games of all time, both Part 1 and Part 2, that whole package. So though they also go up as some of my favorites if you kind of just include the idea of horror. And then there's two more that come to mind very obviously as ones that I've experienced that I really like. There's Layers of Fear, which is by a Bloober team, who are now currently, blowing up.
Silent Hill, or the Silent Hill 2 remake.
Silent Hill 2 remake. They also just announced their new game during the Xbox Partner Preview last week, or 2 weeks ago at this point, I guess. And so I'm just, Bloober team's killing it. Best of luck to them. The other game is also relevant currently because Alien Isolation
just got a sequel.
Is
announced,
getting
right?
is getting a sequel. Not anytime soon. This is just kind of them getting ahead of the leaks and saying, "Hey, just so you know, we're working on it." So no asshole on Twitter is just leaking it.
Which that's a sad. That's so sad of like a thought, and I'm sure you guys have talked about this like in depth before, of just like.
Oh, the surprise being gone.
E3s of
yeah.
Something blowing your fucking mind, and it just doesn't happen anymore because I know everything weeks before it happens.
Right.
And
because
me off.
the like some site, some Amazon version has like
because I decide to log on to Twitter once every month, and I log on a day that just so happens to be Johnny McDick's day to fucking ruin something for me.
Yep.
And yeah, dude, it's so fucking annoying. It's one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to video games.
What happened to the retrograde gameplay for this episode or for this month? Loading. Well, that could be another potential favorite horror game, depending on how it goes. We're going to find out when we record the retrograde episode soon. It's been a very, very busy last few weeks.
To give you a brief glimpse, I have played a little bit of it. It is not one of my favorite horror games.
You've played like 20 minutes of it. You've played 20 minutes of the game. Nick has finished the game, and it said his total of 7.5 hours or so.
I played a little. No, I'm not saying it's a bad game. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that
not your favorite. You don't know that. You don't know that yet.
I'm like a 30 minutes to an hour into it, whatever, and I like it. Not that I'm not a fan, because I am, but it is not a horror game in my opinion. But we'll get to that.
No, interesting. So stay tuned for more Condemned Criminal Origins, a game that you guys voted for the month of October. I have hiccups right as I start speaking. Anyway, with that said, there's a few honorable mentions, I think, to bring along the way. There's Amnesia: The Dark Descent, kind of a classic horror game within the community. And this is just kind of generally, and again, we're changing the scope of the question from our favorite video horror game to just perhaps the best or the most highly recommended. I'll say, how about that? The highly recommended horror games.
Highly recommended. Yeah, that's a good one.
And if you want something a little bit more updated, I played Amnesia: The Bunker. Alexa attempted to play Amnesia: The Bunker. That went extremely well.
The elephant.
Yeah, that went extremely well. We recently played The Evil Within, which was very trippy, like it's a kind of Resident Evil, but it's more cerebral in its own way, which I hear is also kind of what Silent Hill's like. We all attempted to play Dead Space. I have Dead Space on my shelf, and I just not have the remake specifically. It's been one I've been meaning to go back to. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. I can't even say soon because October's almost over. It's not even Halloween anymore. I got to play pumpkin spice games.
So many games that we have to.
Yeah, if it'll be one day, I'll pick Dead Space 2 remake, or sorry, Dead Space remake off the shelf. Maybe when Dead Space 2 remake comes out, I think that'll be an excuse for me.
There you go, and then you marathon it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Resident Evil 4, I know Austin's played that one. I mean, would you say that that's one of the best?
Honestly, it goes back to the same notion of like, I don't really consider it to be horror. I think it's more of like an action game that has horror elements. Like I classify the horror in like 6 and 7, or 6 in Village rather.
Sure.
Or no, 7
and 8.
7 and 8, 7 in Village, Biohazard and Village. That's horror. But like 4, even I guess 2 is a little bit more horror, but
3 is definitely more action. And 4 is also.
I think 4 is like the blend of 2 and 3. Is
sure.
Kind of like the best way I can put it.
And then 5 goes too heavy on the action. 6 is just
great.
all action.
5 and 6 are great. I love those games.
Yeah. And I think that you speak similarly about how I felt about The Last of Us. It's not necessarily a horror game, but there's definitely moments that are intense that are worth kind of bringing up. And
I mean, the overall idea of zombies though makes it horror genre worthy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the last one that personally I have not played, but I know that in Nick's absence, he would want me to mention it as part of this conversation. And if you've listened to the show, you've probably heard him make arguments about why it's so good, and that's Alan Wake 2, a game that very heavily leans into the horror aspect as opposed to even the first one, which I think was also a horror-esque game, more of a mystery, but now it's
more
full
mystery. Now the second one, there's 2 different stories that are happening simultaneously. One where you play as a cop that is investigating a line of murders, and then the other side is where you play as Alan Wake, who's trying to get out of the darkness.
Yeah, and
so it definitely is more, mystery horror.
I'm hoping, I get to at least finish one horror game this season, which is of course A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. But of course, that brings us to the end of the episode. And I think there's no better way to end this episode, Austin, than a segment of Like This, Try That. The concept's very simple. We're going to pitch you a game. So if you like blank, then we recommend that you try blank. So I'll go first.
Give me the format. Let's see it.
So because of, again, the theme of the show, we're gonna stick with horror. So I'm gonna say, if you like, let's see. You know what? I'll go with the easy one. If you like Alien Isolation, then I recommend that you try A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. Of course, you don't have to pick a game that's obviously relevant like that. You could pick any game, but horror, because that's what this episode is.
Okay, it's a little hard, but I get what you're you're saying.
You could also say, for example, if you like Dead Space, you can try the Callisto Protocol.
I'm not gonna do that.
It's not a bad game. It's not a bad game.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad game. I'm just trying to avoid. I was gonna just offer that same respect, be like, if you like Left 4 Dead, you should try Back 4 Blood. Where it's literally this is literally the same concept of people that worked on the one game left and made a different game that's very similar to the original game. Okay, let's think here. If you like, honestly, if you like Outlast. Okay. Try the bridge. Try the bridge curse.
The bridge curse to the extrication. Oh snap!
There you go.
Wow, he's turned around about it. He's now
I'm just
recommending.
saying, I feel like there would be some. I feel like there'd be some overlap there.
Sure. I think we played some
Or maybe
random.
maybe I should flip it. You know what? Let's flip it. If you like the Bridge Curse 2, the extrication, try Outlast.
There you go. There's a few horror games that we've kind of the small horror games that we've played. Insomnus comes to mind as a game that.
Oh,
I remember.
you know what? Here you go. Here's a good one. If you like classic Resident Evil games, try Tormented Souls.
Yes, there you go.
There you go.
And Tormented Souls, I believe,
is having a sequel.
Is
having
a sequel, and is also on sale right now because of Halloween. So you can pick it up a little bit cheaper if you want to try
it. It is one of the most aggravating games I've played because it did not tell me about the save feature and how it works, and I got really pissed when I played the game.
It's true. It's true. But with that said,
hey, it's a good game. Try it out.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. As always, we appreciate you tuning in every week and to hearing us ramble. Apologies in advance. I didn't warn you guys this time because I thought I had ironed it all out, but I clearly did not. So I apologize to the stream for some of the hiccups, but the audio and video listeners elsewhere, you guys are having a smooth experience. So you guys just forget about that apology. It does not apply to you. If you enjoyed this, absolutely scroll down, hit the like button. If you're listening to this, leave a rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, especially Spotify. Helps us out a lot. Let Spotify know that we're the top dog and that they can spend $100 million on our podcast. So go ahead and show some support. But until then, as always, play Condemned Criminal Origins. Get ready for that conversation. November's retrograde will be delayed until we finish talking about this one, so stay tuned. But until then, as always, people, thanks for watching, and have a good night, a good morning, and a damn good time.
Peace.